Hello, my name is Betsy Webb and I'm the Superintendent of the Bangor School Department, and today I have with me Dr. Marie Hansen from Husson University and Principal Paul Butler from Bangor High School. We're very excited to have a new partnership at our newest academy at Bangor High School, and that is the Business Academy. So would you share a little bit about the concept that the two of you worked on that is allowing students to be dually enrolled in both Bangor High School and Husson University?
So we started the academy approach in, I guess it was 2011 with STEM, progressed into visual and performing arts in visual art, got an urging based on the success of STEM and Dr. Webb's your desire to have us in more programs that gave students a post-secondary option. Mm-hmm. Conversation started with Husson and Marie and flourished from there. There was an eagerness on the behalf of Husson to work with our students. We have a number of students who work through business courses at the high school, that it was a match of compatible organizations wishing to give kids a next level opportunity. So we started the conversation using the STEM framework that had migrated over into visual and performing arts and worked perfectly with providing kids an opportunity to segue into Husson, not only during their time at Bangor High School, but as they graduate and go on and pursue post-secondary learning at Husson. So in that way, it's been an existing framework that's worked well, and with a regional educational partner that has given our kids an incredibly rich opportunity to prepare for post-secondary learning through the Business Academy.
Great. And so why don't we share exactly how does this work? How do students meet the standards of Husson University while they're also here at Bangor High School?
So in working with conjunction with Mr. Butler here is looking at the classes that are being taught at Bangor High School, reviewing them for learning outcomes to make sure that the students are achieving the goals that we would expect them at Husson University to be achieving, so that they really are already at a learning level equivalent to Husson's classes. And we actually have had some long-term possibilities of that with our accounting classes here, that we had a history, tradition for that, and it really was a natural fit because the students were taking an exam that came from Husson and doing very well, I might add, and then choosing to bring those credits over. This is a new opportunity to expand beyond accounting and get into other areas such as entrepreneurship and marketing and management and economics, and looking at a broader framework, really getting them introduced to a lot of different aspects of business that they may or may not know what they want to do in the long term, but it gets them that exposure and earn some credit at the same time. So that's a dual opportunity. By taking classes and identifying with the high school that they want to go into the Business Academy, then we can work with the students to make sure that they're on a good pathway. I think it's fair to say that we haven't said there's just one program, one pathway. It's not one size fits all. It's really been conversations, formal and informal, with the high school to say, will this work for this student, to make sure that they're on the right trajectory. So that's an important piece. That's kind of a caveat for us at Husson too, is the individualized attention. So
I would say it's absolutely true, because as we've worked our first class of students into our academy, it really is a individualized plan. We have a course sequence, and under the academy design is a foundational course, and there's a pathway that it's by plan is the academy curricular pathway. But with Husson's opening of courses under articulation agreement, every student's pathway could be a little bit different. But the whole goal of the academy is a 4-year experience that gives them one or more college credit earning opportunities. And with the expansion beyond accounting into other courses by review of syllabi and the quality of instruction that occurs at the high school and the drive of kids, we've opened up pathways beyond what you might traditionally identify as articulation pathways. So we're excited about that.
Well, I think about how our goal is to make sure students are college and career ready, how we know the state of Maine and our country is built and really supported by small business owners,
yes, absolutely.
and that in this day and age that you do have to personalize learning, because that's what's so exciting, is that you are able to take your own pathway. So if parents and students are out there and they're concerned that maybe, it's too rigorous, what would you say?
That it is really focusing back to what the goals are of that student and taking it 1 year at a time. So if in the first year, this seems like a really onerous pathway, I don't know that I want to take AP classes, or that I want to go over to Husson, or that I want to take that accounting class. Let's have that discussion now and bring them in and say, well, what do you want to try, and figure out how that'll fit into the bigger scheme of the Business Academy. As Mr. Butler identified, not every class has to be credit bearing at the college level. They might come out with 3 credits, or they could come out with 30 credits. And truly that spectrum allows for them to do what's comfortable, at the same time hopefully challenging them and getting them well prepared for the career and college level.
Right, and I love that idea of thinking of 1 year at a time. We often talk about having the goal of trying an honors or an AP class in whatever area you're most comfortable, one time by the time you leave Bangor High. There are many students who take numerous, and that's wonderful too. But if that's what's going to tell you if you are college and career ready. And so I think that's great advice, to go one step at a time. For the option of when a student might be at the campus at Husson University, what might that look like? I mean, it's wonderful. We're so close.
Yes.
And so when a student progresses to that point, what might that look like?
So we expect for students to use our ECAP program, which is an early college access program, that they are maintaining an 80-point average here, and that they be a junior or senior standing in order to come over for taking classes with Husson. Now, those taking classes might mean that they're looking at something after normal school hours. They have access to our classes, which might be considered night classes, so they could be looking at a 5 o'clock in the afternoon class, or if their schedule is permissible, is to work in, and that's where we also again are working as to options for them, at a psychology class, for example, that might be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Our classes for an undergraduate 3-credit level class are 2.5 hours of contact time for seat time, so the actual time that you would be in the class itself. We also have another option that our students are choosing, which is looking at online. And so that too could be something of what it looks like. Our online classes are synchronous in that they allow for the students to progress at the same time. However, they don't have to be online all at the same time. There may be asynchronous components where they're not doing things all together, that they're posting responses or assignments, but there may also be times that they're meeting with their professor through technology to make sure that they're on track, or hearing lectures that are taped and that sort of thing. So they really have a spectrum that they could be coming live to the campus. They could be not under the ECAP program, but under our agreement, taking classes here that are gaining credit, or they could be taking online classes. So really a lot of choice, which I think is why asking what those opportunities are is probably the best suggestion.
Right, exactly.
The thing I like about the academy approach is it invites kids to the conversation about their future academic story. And it can have an upper limit, it can have a on-campus experience. For some students, it might be appropriate to do an online course, but for some students, they may not have the level of independence to see what you need to do to successfully complete an online course. Adjustable, but the entire focus is asking kids to think about their post-secondary, to put themselves in position to earn an opportunity, credits, experience on a campus that all together prepares them, we think, for being on a campus and working toward a degree through their high school experiences. So.
And so students would start the Business Academy when they're freshmen. 9th grade year.
Yes.
Okay, 9th grade year. And what if, they find that down the road they don't want to pursue business at the post-secondary level.
So those credits that they've earned, let's say they have taken an accounting class here at Bangor and they've passed the exam that they need to and they're getting credits, those credits are showing up on a Husson transcript, which they can request, and they can decide to go somewhere else, although we'd welcome them to Husson as well, for different majors. For example, in the College of Business, there are 4 different schools, so we might see a student that decides not to do accounting, but decides to do hospitality management instead. That's somewhat related, and they actually are getting college credit that applies to that degree program as well. So the idea that it can be transferred into a different degree program is important at Husson, but we also wanted to make it available that they can request a transcript from Husson to carry those credits with them.
Wonderful.
And within the flow of the day, the academies require that students, while they're concentrating in one area of business, STEM, visual and performing arts, they meet all other Bangor High School requirements. So in that way, even if a student was to learn, maybe it's not business for me, they've completed a project with a capstone that gives the opportunity for credit. We hope it's at Husson, or what we really hope is that it gives an opportunity to pursue post-secondary goals, and if those credits do bank in a manner that works them toward a degree, saving time and money, and giving them the inertia, the momentum to see a degree through, that's the academy's paid off, even if it's failed in the sense of the student saying, business isn't really what I want. There's transferability, and so we're excited about that part of it as well.
Right. Well, as someone who's studied business, I know it applies to pretty much any profession.
Correct.
So
Correct.
It really is helpful. The other thing I was thinking about, you talk about a capstone, and are there summer requirements? What are the requirements above and beyond the typical high school day?
Right. What we said is, we really think it's important to have a curricular experience that is sequentially focused and with that goal of a college credit earning opportunity. So it's really, in the truest of senses, it's an academic sequence. But that's not pursued without knowledge that kids need to feel connected to really have their study be meaningful. So we do have summer components. We have an internship component. We have a component where students are in pursuit of the WorkReady credential that's recognized across employers in the Department of Labor and Department of Ed combined initiative. It really is as much about being successful in your courses while adding those external experiences, high school-based and off-campus, school year and summer, in the development of what we call a capstone, which is a senior delivered project that is the culmination of all those experiences, and maybe in accounting or entrepreneurship or event planning, where they're really thinking of where they want to go and what a college degree can do to help them get there. So there is a qualitative, a curriculum component, an interactive or a cohort component, and the idea is that the student in any given class is working with teachers, with one another, within the school day, within the school year, and beyond the school day and year, to put something together that sets them up for that opportunity at Husson and beyond.
And we have, from an extracurricular side too, I was just speaking with our Director of Entrepreneurship, we have conversations at the Dyke Center that will be bringing in people that are experienced in the business field, and whether they come over as a group or whether we provide a tape presentation of that, or whether they choose to come over individually to take opportunities like that. It's just one more piece to add to that portfolio. Oh, I met so-and-so. Oh, I got an opportunity to show off my resume. Those types of things that are going to make them work ready.
Right.
I've attended some of those sessions.
Yes.
They're very helpful. Like there was a family business seminar in which you had some local families that run business, and it was very interesting, very helpful to hear about their pathways and decisions they made along the way. One of the things, I know that you referred to the WorkReady certificate. We hear from businesses that, and this is across the nation, this is not in Bangor, but across the nation, that students need preparation in soft skills. And I know the WorkReady program really addresses some of that. Maybe our home viewers don't know what that means, though. So if you could expand upon that.
Sure. WorkReady is It's as I shared, a Department of Labor and Department of Education combined initiative that, in our case, there are essentially 7 standards or areas in which a student or a person who is effective in the workplace internalizes and makes them a good bet to be an effective employee. Everything from technical skills around resume building to telephone skills, but it's really beyond those day in and day out things. Being a valuable employee, being a good colleague, communicating, collaborating. And the WorkReady process asks students to demonstrate proficiency in the 7 standards. It asks students to achieve a qualifying score as externally checked by a reading and math assessment. And it asks them to develop their interview and communication skills to pass a mock interview with a local business partner who actually does the interview. And they come out the other side, those combination of experiences demonstrating in black and white they understand the world of work, demonstrating that they've worked hard in the curricular program to achieve a level of mathematics and critical reading, ELA competency, and they can communicate well in person. They're a good bet, and they earn the certificate, and they attend school regularly to the point where they've proven in those ways that they're a good bet for employment. We think it's important that students show those things. That's why we have embedded it in the Business Academy sequence.
Right.
And I would say the community has spoken to that. We will have career fairs, and they want to make sure that the students can look the employer in the eye and be able to tell what their accomplishments are, and to have that resume, and to be able to do a full interview and understand what that means, because that idea can be daunting for them. So I think the idea of confidence building at this level is really important to take them to the next level.
That, and I think for too long we've gone away from explicit instruction of how to do that well.
Right.
And I really think students will benefit. And we know we've had some of our co-op students participate, and it's so important for all levels.
Right.
And so I think that's excellent. What about the costs? You know, obviously it doesn't cost a family to come to Bangor High School, but if they're getting dual credit, we should clarify that for our parents.
So for the classes, take for example our Accounting 1 class that's being taught. The students will come at Bangor High School, take the class. The credit will be put onto that transcript at no cost. So that is a really important thing. That's definitely the bargain of the deal. The ECAP program is $100 a class, and I know that's something that really rivals a very similar price structure to what AP credit would be as well. So if you are taking an AP exam, that it's right in line with that cost associated with it. And I would just ask Mr. Butler to speak to scholarship opportunities that are out there as well to fund that. So.
Uniquely, we've made the commitment to families that within, whether it be AP or ECAP, if they've identified an opportunity they'd like to pursue and it's beyond what the family can support, we've pledged to finding ways to help support their pursuit. ECAP, when I mentioned that ECAP is the great investment and great value that it is, families have found a way to support that pursuit. No different with the advanced placement. $91 is the current fee for advanced placement, as Marie said, very comparable. And again, we still have opportunities for students who may struggle with that fee. We'll find a way, just like any program that we want, to remove all barriers for students to find a next level opportunity.
Great, great. Well, I'm so excited about this. It makes me want to go back to high school. There are so many opportunities. Any last things that you would like to share with parents or students about this exciting new venture?
Well, although this is at Bangor High School for a starting point, we're certainly open to having conversations with students. And I know Mr. Butler has called me on various occasions with students that are interested. And so I'm pleased to be a resource for that. I know my faculty are actually excited to come back and meet the students here or have them visit Husson. So that's the other opportunity that I think exists off the Bangor High campus, is to come see the campus. The students that might be wondering about, can I go to Husson and take a class? We actually invite them to come in and sit down, sit through a class and see what that's like, because that's another piece that cuts down the barrier and addresses, okay, I can do this. I'm doing really well at Bangor High School. I want to do this, and so here's the next step. So that's an option that's there.
And they could contact you? Is
Yes.
that okay? Right
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
Husson University. Great. And-
Absolutely.
I'd just like to share that the word academy, it's a heavy word, but it's not intended to be exclusive.
Mhm.
And I think when I share with folks who are interested in exploring an academy, I tell them that you are going to be asked to experience all the disciplines. You don't say goodbye to commitment to all the other things that are worthy of study in a liberal arts program by agreeing in the 9th grade year to pursue something that you identify now as your post-secondary plan when you join an academy. It's an invitation to conversations and planning about the next level, but it's also the invitation and requirement that you explore all the other disciplines evenly. And it's been a very successful model for us, and having partnerships like we do with Husson has opened all kinds of opportunities and real next level opportunities for our kids to study and earn degrees and maybe even come back and work in Maine.
That's awesome. Thank you.